Yo, 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 yo. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all well. I started early. I opened it, went into the studio. I was like, Sarah P's there. Awesome. Always there. Enough of that's there. Awesome. Enough of that. Bam. I got too excited. I was like, 2 minutes left. I was, no, I'm starting now. Hello. So, welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. Please hit the like and the notification bell on your way in. Enough of that is here. Love it when enough of that's here. Hey, Nefertha, thank you, Sarah. So, let me just get this on the screen. Oh, just a big which I am full shit screen. Um, Let me get this up here now. So we are watching Ethan Crumbley. Judge, no, why is that there? I'm not sure why is that there. Yeah, so to see whether he gets. Oops, the wrong one. Let me get this one in. Where is this one? There it is. It's here. To see if he gets life in prison without parole because he was a minor. I'm not sure how old he is now. The state want him to get life without parole because he killed 4 people and in Oxford school, middle school, and yeah, injured a lot of other people. But me and Sarah P were listening to it as well this morning session. His parents, this I can't swear, but his parents are awful. They did not help him one bit. I'm not sure how this kid was supposed to survive in the world, and that's not me making excuses for what he did. He deserves prison for a very long time. But his parents, they did not care about him. Even when he was jailed, they were on the run. They didn't care. They just wanted to save themselves. They bought the gun for him. They've done all. They set him up to fail in life. He was reaching out to people, but no one's listening, and there's so I don't condone whatever he did. He deserves prison for a very, 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 very long time. But I'm just saying, stating that his parents, they are pieces of shit as well. And any kid in their supervision, how are they even going to? I don't even think this kid has ever felt love. I don't think that his parents cared about him. They cared about the cigarettes and the marijuana and stuff like that, but never about the kids. So yeah, so although he's going to be sentenced for a very long time, whether that's life without parole or whether that's going to be like 30, 40, 50 years, he deserves. But I'm empathetic for the fact that he came into this world and he had zero chance in this world, zero chance with those sets of parents. And that makes me feel sorry for kids out there, and the ones that make it through. You got to applaud them. Do you know what I mean? They've got a battle in life um, to be successful in life. So yeah, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting sentencing hearing. Um, I'm not sure how long we got. If it's just today, if it's over numerous days, I have no idea. I only found it. I found out today, but he pleaded guilty to 24, uh, whatever you call it, um, 4 murders and the rest injuries and stuff like that. He's pleaded guilty for all that stuff. So it's just literally the sentence in this is now. So you see him in his orange jumpsuit and stuff like that. Wendy H is back. Hello, Wendy H. Again, lovely. I didn't see your membership thing earlier on, but thank you for the. Yeah, you've been now a membership for according to your second month now, Wendy. Thank you for that. Nifata, why you? So I'm like, hi Nifata. Doesn't say a word back to me. Doesn't say a word back to me. Wendy comes in. Nifata's like, hey Wendy, woo. This guy's talking crap here. Thankfully you're here to talk to me. I'm Sarah P. She's like, yeah, oh geez, this guy's shut up. Let's talk together and chat, this is what I got to deal with on a daily basis, no respect, I was doing dishes. BS. I call out you out on that for that. I'm only joking. I love her for that. Well, I love Wendy. I love Sarah. Love you all here. I'm not sure who else is here, but love you all. Have a cup of tea here. I prefer coffee, but fancy a cup of tea. I can't sleep well at night, so I'm trying to cut down on the coffee. Do you know what I mean? To have some tea instead. Um, so yeah, we're just waiting now. Oakland something says here. Uh, we caught up with everything. We did well. We've done well, guys. We were 1.25 speed, and literally it was 1.25 speed when um when the break came. What do you put in your tea, Dylan? So I have Tetley, Tetley tea bag. So I like, I know Americans don't like tea normally, but I have Tetley tea bag and a splash of milk. Well, not splash, I have milk as well, semi-skim milk as well. Now I know that disgusts everyone. Everyone's like, oh, no, oh. Mm, but it's what we drink here. It's Lou. If Lou was here, but Lou was on the way to Dallas now, so I can't ask her to defend me. But everyone believes Lou ahead of me. But Lou loves a cup of tea. She loves a tea with a Tetley tea bag with milk and everything. Oh, here we go. Here she is. Sarah P's on the ball. Joins Wendy H interviews Emma Law show. Yes, promotion. We're a tea family and on Susan. Thank you, Wendy. Respect to you. You're a decent human being. Decent human being, you see. I knew we would be. I knew we would be. I mean, I get everyone slamming me, saying, you can't drink tea. It's tea, you've got to have green tea or peppermint tea. So I'm like, no, Tetley. What do you use? Do you use the tea bag or do you use like leaves or do you use like what do you call them? I don't know what you call them. Like you can spoon it in and stuff into a um, teapot. I don't. Well, I do teapot. If it's like four of us want a cup of tea, I definitely would be doing teapots. Do you know what I mean? But if it's just me, I do or just one other, then I do tea bag. Thank you so much. Hey, Wendy, Sarah P's on it anytime. I told you, anybody that supports this channel in the way that you do always gets support back. Of course, you see, of course, Wendy. I'm half Mexican, half English. Oh, oh, okay, that's good. Okay, I'm sorry to hear you're half English and not half Welsh, but infuse it. Yeah, there we are. That's on it. She's Canadian, so she's half there as well. Use tea bag. Which tea bags do you use? Because does America produce them? Do you have any like weird? I'm Tetley. I'm not so fussy, right? I will use various ones. But my mother Tetley. That's it. Tetley. That is it. No more. Nothing else. Tetley. I mean, you should have to be desperate to drink it otherwise. No worries, Wendy. No worries. We all love you too, Wendy. Mm. No, I'm not fussy, but my mother is. My mother's a tea snob. It's Tetley tea, but she's not a snob on it. But Tetley tea bar is not like wow, but it's only Tetley she likes, and she's so fussy the way you have to do it. She's like 4 or 5 dips, and that's it with the tea bag. Out she comes. She likes it super weak. My father then likes it super strong, and I'm a give it to me whichever way you want to give it to me. It's all good. It's all good. No, they're not. We are live, and there is. I was, yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm more a coffee man. I'll be honest. I'm more of a coffee man. Oh, as I say that, never thought says the same. I'm a coffee girl. But minty after dinner sometimes, or chamomile. I've never had chamomile or minty. I've had peppermint tea. I mean, I drank peppermint tea a couple of times, but it's torture to drink it because I don't like I like a lot of milk. Like I can have this cup of tea now, and I can leave it on the side there for like 3.5, 4 hours. not a problem. Full, then I'll come back and drink it. I can drink it stone cold, not an issue. Like that's weird. You shouldn't, and same with coffee. I prefer it cold than I do warm. So anything that I can't put milk into, it takes me a long time then to drink it. I just don't like it. Don't like it. I'd rather have stuff hot. I like it hot, but I'd say half half. Lukewarm, shall we say? Then I'll down it. But yeah, I'm weird. I can just leave a cup of tea, cup of coffee on the side for like 4 hours. And I was like, oh, and then I just drink it. My mum only drinks tea. Oh, sometimes with dessert. Okay, I love coffee in the morning. Yeah, both hot and iced. Any other time of day, yeah. But I always have it hot, but I just let it cool down. And also, I'm about up to date with milk as well. I'm a milky guy. I'm a milky guy. Yeah, my mother doesn't smell of coffee, turns her off. My father has tea most of the day, but he has two two cups of coffee. Well, um, two. Yeah, was he have one coffee? Definitely has one milky coffee a day, like a latte, or two sometimes. Oh yeah, coffee and dessert. Cheesecake's my favorite. Oh, here we go. Oops, here we go. Right, I need to get this back now. Cheesecake's my favorite. I had a peanut butter cheesecake yesterday, first time ever. And it was nice. First bite is a bit dodgy, but after that, it was
Thank you, appearance
lovely.
for the record.
Karen
Right,
McDonald on
here we
behalf
go.
of
I
the
can
people.
listen to it
Thank you,
now.
Mark Keast on behalf of people. David Williams on behalf of people.
Paulette Michelle Lawson on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Amy Happ on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Rachel McKelvey on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Thank you. Before we begin, council, please approach.
Oh, Judge, what's the point? Don't start it then. Cheesecake's my favorite. Cheese? Cake? Cheese? Cake? What? Cheesecake? Yeah, so yeah, peanut butter cheesecake, first time ever. First bite's a bit dodge, but after that it was lovely. It's lovely, lovely fly. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Sarah been drinking a lot of iced teas. I can't drink iced tea. Iced coffee, no way could I drink
Thank
iced
you.
tea.
With that, people, you may call your next witness.
Thank you. People call Robert Catalyst.
I would write it down. Oh, I will. I will.
Thank you, sir. You're going to approach the witness stand. You're going to stand in the witness box, face my clerk to be sworn, please. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Under penalty of perjury, do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make to this court will be the whole truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And sir, if you could please state your full name for the record and spell your last name.
Robert F. Cotelis Jr., Koteles.
Thank you. Prosecutor, your witness.
Judge, thank you. In this witness presentation, we do have crime scene photographs. So as we introduce evidence, I would again ask the court to instruct the media not to broadcast anything that we display on the screen.
Thank you. As previously stated, please do not show anything on the screen that's sensitive in nature. If you could, please turn the cameras around when that's being presented. You may
Well,
proceed.
the victim's family aware. There will be some graphic photographs in this presentation as well.
But you're gonna
Thank you. And,
let them know before you.
and at this time, if anyone wishes to leave the courtroom, you may leave the courtroom at this time as sensitive information will be shown on the screen. That being said, people, you may proceed.
Thank you. Sir, how are you employed?
By the Oakland County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you worked with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office?
I'm in my 17th year of employment there.
And what do you do there?
My technical name is a forensic laboratory investigator leader, which is a vast array of supervision. I'm the latent print supervisor of 5 individuals. I also am the crime scene supervisor, which we have 7 people on that team. I'm also the crime scene response team supervisor, which I have 10 team members on that, along with an evidence technician program that I run that has over 100 technicians.
So you're part of the crime scene investigation, would that be correct?
That is correct.
And sir, we're not going to go through all the qualifications because it is a Miller hearing, not a jury trial. But it's true that you've been qualified many times over in crime scene analysis.
That is correct.
How often do you conduct a crime scene analysis? How often is this part of your day-to-day?
Not every day. The teams that I run do a lot of crime scene investigations that are out of my realm, but I've been a crime scene investigator this is my 25th year, starting with Pontiac Police and with Oakland County Sheriff's Office, and I've done hundreds, if not thousands, of crime scenes throughout my career.
I'd like to direct your attention to November the 30th, 2021. Do you remember that day?
Yes, I do.
Were you working?
I was working in the office, yes.
Okay. And were you the on-call crime scene supervisor in that day?
Yes, I was.
Do you remember being called to the Oxford High School that day?
Yes, I do.
Tell me where you were when you received that phone call.
I was sitting in my office at 38 East, the sheriff's office, and my Captain Quisenberry informed me that I needed to respond to the Oxford High School.
You responded there?
Yes, I did.
Tell us what you do, please. What are some of the steps you take when you process the scene?
The initial thing is an assessment, a crime scene assessment, to see what we actually are looking at as far as the actual crime scene. So to get an idea of what resources I may need or what processes we have to actually perform before we actually start photography or anything else.
Now, at the Oxford High School, this is an extremely large crime scene, would that be correct?
That is correct.
And before you conducted your analysis, did you do a walkthrough?
Yes, I did.
Tell me about that, please.
There were several individuals that were involved. It was my entire team, which I had 18 members, along with our special investigations unit. There were several sergeants and lieutenants that walked through the scene because there was different intelligence that we were receiving at different times. We wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page.
Now I'm going to approach the witness. This is exhibit 46. I may approach that.
Yes.
Now, this has already been stipulated as admission. I just want you to have that and refer to it if necessary. That's your report that you offered regarding the crime scene analysis in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Now, that's obviously a lengthy report. We're not going to go all the way through it, but I am going to show you some photographs. It's also been stipulated too. They're already admitted into evidence. I'll take you through that through the PowerPoint presentation on the screen. But I just want to confirm with you, you've seen our exhibits. These were all taken on November the 30th, 2021 at the Oxford High School.
That is correct.
So directing you now to the screen, this is a map of the Oxford High School, and we have blue markings on this map. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, did you make these markings?
Actually, one of my team members had actually placed the numbers on the schematic of where the evidence pieces were collected from within the school.
Okay. Now, can you tell me please what these numbers signify?
They're item numbers that coincide to a specific piece of evidence that was given a specific number and then collected from the crime scene.
Okay. When we're talking about evidence, are we talking about shell cases?
Yes.
Can you tell us please what exactly is a shell case?
So what the technical term will be a fired cartridge case. It is a portion of a cartridge that ejects out of a semi-automatic weapon when the firearm is fired. So the bullet goes out the end of the barrel, and the fired cartridge case will eject out the side of the weapon, typically out the right-hand side of the weapon.
Oxford High School, it's a single-story building. Is that true?
That is correct.
Okay. And did it appear to you from your investigation that the shooting was contained to the 200 hallway?
Yes, it was.
Just for a little bit of background, the hallways are named for the number of classrooms in the hallway. Is that right?
That is correct.
So throughout your investigation, we're able to determine the path that the shooter took.
Yes, it appeared to be on the south side of the school, and then headed a little bit east and then to the north.
I'm just to direct you to, I have a laser pointer with the map here. Now, this is a bathroom that's directly adjacent to room 258. Did you come to learn the defendant was in that bathroom directly before he opened fire?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And if you could tell us the path that he walked, please?
Then he would go directly east, which is down, and then go into the north, which is a little bit to the right, and then follows that hallway there.
Okay. And where do the evidence of the shooting scene stop?
In front of room 213, which is right there on the right-hand side of the screen.
And of course, sir, you're aware that at that point, the defendant turned around and continued to walk in reverse path down the 200 hallway. Is that right?
That is correct.
I'm going to take you through some crime scene photographs following the path of the defendant. So this is previously admitted as exhibit 2. If you could tell me what we're looking at in this photograph.
This is a bathroom stall in the bathroom that is just outside of room 258, in the 200 wing of the school. And there's some personal effects that you can see in the picture there, a backpack, some electronics, a journal, along with a Gatorade bottle, some other miscellaneous items.
Now, next picture is in the 200 hallway. We're looking down the 200 hallway. We have rooms 258 and 256. And obviously we have some images redacted, but also yellow evidence placards. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
Yes, this is a photograph taken just outside of that bathroom, what we saw the inside of in the previous exhibit. This is a photograph taken to the east, on that hallway outside of 258 and 256. And the yellow placards are items that were marked as evidence pieces within that crime scene.
Now, I want to ask you specifically about what I call shell casings, or you fired cartridge cases is that's the official term. Would that be right?
That is correct.
Okay. How many of those did you uncover? Or did you recover rather in this portion of the 200 hallway?
In front of, outside of 258, 256, there were 14 fire cartridge cases located.
Okay, and sir, you told us that every time a semi-automatic handgun is fired, it ejects that cartridge case.
That is correct.
Okay, so that means he fired 14 times
That is correct.
in this area. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, further following this hallway, following the shooter's path, this is looking at the corner where 249 would be right around to the left of the photograph. This is past room 256 that would be behind us. So what do we see in this photograph?
You start to see where the hallway turns to the left, which would be to the north, outside of 249. And you see a couple more evidence placards there that are marked with evidence.
Now, as we turn that corner, we're looking down the long part of the 200 hallway. What are we looking at in this photograph?
Once again, it's the hallway. You can start to see at the top of the photograph that this hallway is a curved hallway. It's not a straight hallway. Once again, the evidence placards were placed next to pieces of evidence that were located within the crime scene.
Now, again, specific to those cases, those shell casings, this is where 249 would extend to 213. That would be the end of the crime scene.
That is correct.
Okay, now, how many of those shell casings were recovered in this portion of the hallway?
There were 18 fired cartridge cases between 249 and 213.
Did you recover any handgun magazines?
Yes, I did.
Is that exhibit or is that placard 35 right here by the laser pointer?
That is correct.
What is a handgun magazine? What is it?
So gun magazine, a handgun magazine would be something that contains those cartridges prior to them being fired, and they're inserted into the bottom of a semi-automatic weapon to be able to be loaded into the chamber of a firearm to be expelled through the barrel.
And you're familiar with the murder weapon from November the 30th, 2021, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Tell us, what is the firing capacity of that particular handgun?
The magazines, there was 3 magazines covered from within the scene, and the capacity was 15 rounds per magazine.
So if we see an ejected magazine, that was empty when recovered, right?
That is correct.
That tells us that he went through the entire magazine, and then he ejected that. And we saw in the video earlier that he then inserted a full magazine of bullets. Is that your understanding?
Yes, it is.
Now, was there evidence that the defendant turned and fired into classrooms with children and teachers as well?
Yes, there was.
The next slide here is room 247. Can you tell us please what we're looking at?
This is a photograph taken from the outside of room 247. You can see there's a pink trajectory rod that is to indicate where the bullet actually passed through the framework of the door in 247 into the classroom.
Now that rod, we talked a little bit about earlier with Lieutenant Willis. You obviously weren't here for that, but tell us what that rod means.
It's the direction that the bullet actually traveled into that classroom, prior to my arrival during the crime scene.
Now we're moving on to room 244. We see another one of these trajectory rods. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so again, this signifies that the defendant turned and fired into that classroom.
Yes, and this looks to be a small window that was on the left-hand side of the door to 244.
And we see spider broken glass underneath the sign 244 prior to the bullet being fired in there. So you're understanding that glass was actually clear. You can see through it.
That is correct.
And that's other classrooms have that same glass panel right next to the door.
Correct.
Now this is office 224. This is the office of Miss Molly Darnell. What do we see here?
Once again, there are 3 trajectory rods that were inserted into the door of classroom 224, indicating the path of travel where the bullets went through the door into 224.
This is the same classroom. This is also 224. We see the part of the office door where the bullet actually went through. And this is just a view inside the classroom or office.
That is correct. You can see the back side of the door of 224 with the trajectory rods on the inside of the door, and then the contents of that classroom at the time that I observed it.
So I want to direct you to where I have a laser pointer at the back of this classroom is a file cabinet with an indentation here. Are you aware what that was?
Yes, I am.
What is that?
It would be what we call ricochet, or a defect. It was in that filing cabinet, most likely caused by a fired bullet.
Okay. And this hole here in the window, that was also likely caused by a fired bullet.
That's correct. We call that a perforation where the bullet actually traveled out and we were never able to recover it.
And in this file cabinet right here with books, a fired bullet was actually recovered there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now I'm moving to classroom 223. This is a side-by-side view of that classroom. What do we see here?
This is it's the side-by-side photograph of 223, and you can see the picture on the right. It looks like it appears to be what we call a tumbling bullet. It's not a circular in nature. The pattern is not circular in nature, so it looks like the bullet was actually tumbling at that time. So it had to come in contact with something prior to hitting that door.
We have room 220, another rod in the door. What does that signify?
The trajectory rod to show the path of travel of a bullet that went into room 220.
Right, and last picture here is room 215. You see 3 rods in that glass pane next to the door.
Yes, that is correct. They're orange in this photograph. The trajectory rods would say they're just a different color from this one in 215.
So this would signify the defendant fired 3 times, aiming at someone past that glass pane and went through the glass.
That is correct.
Now, did you also process the men's bathroom in the 200 hallway across from room 233?
Yes, I did.
And that is the location where the defendant killed Justin Schilling. Is that right?
That is correct.
Again, Judge, I'm going to show one photograph from that.
Alrighty, I just found a better quality one because this quality is to my head in. So I've got another stream that's much better. Let me just change to that one. Yeah, here we go. I got it.
There's also a backpack that's indicated by number 50 in the photograph. And then you can't really see it in the photograph, but there is some type of defect on the bathroom wall, most likely caused from a fired bullet.
Okay, so from your investigation, you learned that the gun was fired one time. We know that
His parents are awful.
and the bullet then struck the wall right about here. Is that right?
That is correct.
Now, the defendant, you're aware the defendant surrendered, and before he did, he placed his gun on a trash can outside the bathroom. Is that what this picture depicts?
That is correct.
Detroit. The other one's
Based
lawn.
upon your crime scene investigation, how many times did the defendant fire that gun on November the 30th, 2021?
32 times.
Thank you, Judge. Nothing further.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
It's a shame. We had like 8 people here.
Other than the crime scene
Yes.
at the high school,
Yes.
were you involved in the search of the house?
No, I was not.
Were you involved with processing any of the evidence as far as testing any of it?
I guess you have to be more specific.
Okay, for example, if clothing was taken from Ethan, would you have processed that clothing for any type of trace evidence?
No, I did not. That's not my area of expertise.
Would you have done any trace evidence analysis on the firearm?
I did check the firearm
And when you checked it, what were you checking it for?
for blood.
And was there any blood on the firearm?
No, there was not.
As it relates to your processing the scene at the high school, the photographs and the placards in them are based on where things were found when you arrived, correct?
That is correct.
It's possible that that evidence could have been unintentionally moved by other people that were going through the hallway, correct?
That is a possibility.
Now, did you interview anyone in the in your investigation of this scene?
Did I interview anyone?
Correct.
No, I did not.
Did you take any statements from anybody?
No, I did not.
And you already said you hadn't been to Ethan's house. Were you at all responsible for any of the photographs or any evidence collection there, even though you didn't do it personally?
I took all the photographs in this case,
Okay, so you took the photographs at the house then too?
just at the high school.
Okay, so you just said you took all the photographs. So if there were photographs from the house, it wouldn't be
Well, I
something
mean,
you did.
then I apologize if I misunderstood the question. I was never at the house, so I could not have taken any photographs there. I took all the photographs at the Oxford High School.
Would one of the team members that you testified you supervised taken those pictures?
Yes,
And would you have been supervising what was collected at the house or what pictures were taken?
I was not at the house.
But were you telling your team member what to do or how to process that scene?
No, I did not.
Did you take any, and this may not be, it may be outside of what your responsibilities are, so let me know, any physical evidence from the person of Ethan, such as swabs?
No, I did not.
Would that have been outside of what your responsibilities were?
It would all have to depend on the circumstances and if I was needed or they requested it.
Have you ever met Jennifer and James Crumbley?
No, I have not.
Do you know anything about Ethan's life or his family?
Only by hearsay.
And by hearsay, would that have been from your team members or other law enforcement officials, or are you talking from like press reports?
Just from my coworkers in law enforcement.
We know Ethan's been in the Oakland County Jail, correct?
That is correct.
Have you had any contact with him at the jail?
No, I have not.
And do you know anything about what he's been doing there regarding education?
No, I do not.
How about, do you know that he's been diagnosed as being mentally ill?
I do not know that.
How about if he's taking any sort of medication or in any sort of counseling or other treatment for mental illness?
I don't know that information.
Do you know what the Miller factors are?
Just a little bit.
Do you know any of the hallmark features of Ethan's chronological age?
No, I do not.
Do you have any sort of education, experience, or specialized knowledge to talk about hallmark features of a person's chronological age?
Another CG, welcome. Another CG pops in once every 2 days, so let's go, CG.
No, I do not.
And you didn't do any investigation of your own as to his family or home environment, correct?
That is correct.
Now, you also cannot provide any testimony about the effect of any familial or peer pressure on Ethan related to this event. Would that
Yeah.
be true?
I think he's already testified that he's a crime scene investigator who was only at the school.
Thank you. The court agrees, but I will allow some leeway, but please get to your point, Ms. Huff, but you may continue.
Your Honor, my questions are toward the Miller factors and whether he has any information for us about those.
Correct. His statement has been he's vaguely familiar with the Miller factors, and he's pretty much established that he doesn't have anything to offer directly as it relates to the Miller factors. And so you may continue. I am allowing some leeway.
You don't know anything about the incompetencies of youth or Ethan's incompetencies related to his age, correct?
That is correct.
Don't know anything about brain development, correct?
Correct.
And you don't know whether Ethan can be rehabilitated, can you?
No, I cannot.
And do you know what it means to be rehabilitated in the context of criminal law or corrections?
No, I do not.
And you don't have any experience, education, or specialized knowledge about whether people can be rehabilitated at all, correct?
That is correct.
How about what it means to be irreparably corrupt? Do you know what that means?
No, I do not.
And you don't know any sort of standard for that phrase?
No.
And you don't know how to determine if anybody's irreparably corrupt, correct?
Correct.
You haven't met Ethan before, correct?
That is correct.
So you can't provide us any testimony about what changes he's undergone as a person between November 30th of 2021 and today, correct?
No, I cannot.
No further questions.
Thank you. Reiterate.
Briefly. You're a crime scene investigator?
That is correct.
Okay. And so you went to the crime scene November the 30th, processed the scene.
Yes, I did.
Okay. You can tell us that the defendant fired the weapon, the 9mm weapon that he used to murder 4 children. He fired that gun 32 times in that shooting event.
That is correct.
And each time he fired it aiming at a person. Is that right?
One would assume.
Thanks. Nothing.
Thank you. With that being said, any reason why this witness should not be excused?
Not from the people. Thank you.
None from defense.
Thank you. With that being
Let's
said,
just-
sir, you may step down. You may also leave the courthouse. Please don't discuss your testimony with anyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're very welcome. Clerk to be sworn.
Stupid,
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
because there's no jury, it's just a judge. The judge's got common
Under
sense.
penalty of perjury, do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make to this court will be the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And sir, if you could, please state your full name for the record and spell your last name.
Edward Wogrowski, last name Wagrowski.
Thank you. People, your witness.
Thank you. Sir, when you're ready, can you tell us how you're employed, please?
With the Oakland County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, what do you do at the sheriff's office?
I'm a detective in the computer crimes unit.
How long have you been with the computer crimes unit?
9 years.
Tell us, please, what a detective in the computer crimes unit does on a day-to-day basis.
We do everything, cell phone forensics. We're looking for evidence of crimes on phones, computers, call detail records, stuff like that.
Okay. So is it fair to say that someone from the computer crimes unit would be responsible for the forensic examination of any cell phone seized?
Yes, sir.
Would that, would the task of reviewing search warrant returns from social media outlets, would that follow computer crimes, generally speaking?
Yes, sir.
And do you also have expertise in working certain surveillance systems, DVR systems, things of the like?
Yes, sir.
I want to direct your attention to November the 30th, 2020. Sir, do you remember that day?
Yes.
Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
Do you recall getting a call about a shooting at the Oxford High School?
I remember our captain coming in.
Okay. So you were in the office and your captain notified you?
Yeah, we were sitting down, getting ready to listen to a webinar on forensics, cell phone forensic stuff. And he came in, and the phrase he used is, he said, there's been a shooting at the Oxford High School, and he said, all hands on deck.
What's going through your head at that point?
This isn't real.
What'd you do?
I'll be honest, in my job, we're people call us the computer nerds, and I thought, this isn't real. It's going to be over by the time I get there. And so we always take our laptop wherever we go, and I grabbed my stuff and walked out to my car. I remember as I was pulling out of the parking lot, it became very real. I looked to my left out of the sheriff's office, 38 East, and the animal control and the medical examiners down at the far end. And there's two marked patrol units from another agency. They come around the corner and their lights and siren are going, and they're going very fast. And I remember thinking they weren't from my agency. And I remember thinking I knew where they were going. And I thought to myself, like, there's no way they're going to beat me to a place in my town that I work for.
Do you remember the drive?
Every minute of it, yeah.
Tell me what you remember.
I remember there was a lot of chatter on the radio, a lot. I was at 24 in Walton. I went up to Walton, turned right, and started heading north on 24. And it must have been 1 p.m. because I remember hearing say there's a subject in custody. But I kept driving, of course, license siren, and I remember coming up to the overpass where 75 comes off onto 24, and everything just seemed so, again, not real, but very real. And I saw one of our SWAT vehicles going across the bridge, and I thought, oh, wow, and then the light was red right there, but nobody was moving. There was cars at the ramp supposed to be coming off, but nobody was moving. I couldn't figure out why. I should be slowing down because there should be cross traffic. And as I go through the red light, I look to my right, and there's some agency patrol car. I don't know who it was. And then I kept going up 24, Lapeer Road. Everybody was filing in behind me. And my county vehicle, my detective vehicle is a white minivan, and
100%.
It's not like a patrol car. It handles different. It handles like a minivan does, not like a patrol car does. And I remember going the next traffic light past where the old palace used to be. I think it's Brown Road. And I remember there was cars in both lanes, and the light was red. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I gotta be safe, of course, and I gotta get around these cars, and the shoulders gravel. Like I picture it like it happened yesterday. And I went off onto the shoulder of the road to get around the cars. And I felt down to the tires pulling towards the ditch. I felt it. And I go around the cars and keep going north on 24, and there's cars behind me, patrol cars. I look up at one time, there's maybe 6 cars. I look up another time, there's 10. Like, they just kept stacking behind me. And then we got to an intersection. We're into Orion Township. I can't remember what road it was, but the light had just changed red. And I know everybody heard us coming. We were driving, everybody had their sirens going. So the intersection, nobody moved. But I thought the safest thing to do was to stop in the middle of the intersection so everybody behind me can just go through quicker. So I held the intersection. And then I remember I counted 18 vehicles go past me. And then as we got closer into town, and that traffic was really bad on northbound. I remember going against traffic. I remember cars coming at us. Of course, we're slowing down at this point. And all I could hear on the radio was the staging point, staging area. It was the Meyer.
I love the.
And so I'm like, I'm just going to keep driving north until I see a Meyer. Because I don't know Oxford Township at all.
This is the. I've got to stop it. This is very emotional and surreal. This is Ethan Crumbley, Oxford High shooter who killed 4 people, 3 students and one of the teachers, and injured a lot of people. He's already pleaded guilty now. This is for sentencing because he was 16 years old. The state are going after life without parole, and that's the sentencing stage for this now. That's what we're watching now. This is one of the officers that, whatever I said on top of the screen, he's just describing how he got to the school, basically. So yeah, that's where it is. Yeah, it's quite surreal, as OG said, to watch this. But we're still rimming, Iris. We're still rimming.
And I follow just past the Meyer. There's a road there. And I remember hearing Ray Road also on the radio. And so I turned onto that road and I got out of my car, and another deputy was just getting out of his car. And we look at each other like, what do we do now? And I go, I don't know. They said something about stationary Ray Road. I go, where's that at? And I remember him saying, you're standing on it. And then I could see kids coming down from where the high school was. I know where the high school was. There's a tree line just behind the Meyer, and the high school's on the side of the tree line.
Tell me a little bit about, as you arrived on scene there on Ray Road, you said there was kids?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your impression of that? What was their demeanor like?
At that, I don't know if I paid attention to their demeanor at that point, but I remember thinking how unprepared they were. I was freezing. It was cold out. I remember when I got out of my car, I put 2 coats on and I was still shivering at points. And there were kids with just t-shirts on. I remember seeing one girl, she didn't have any shoes on, and just walking along the side of the road in the gravel. And they cut across they didn't come down to the drive where we were. They cut across the snow, the hill, and started walking towards the Meyer. And it looked like everybody was heading down towards the garden center, the far end of the Meyer from where I was.
So where'd you go?
I went to the garden center because that's what I remember hearing on the radio. I get there, I walk down there because I left my car up on Ray Road, and I get there, and there were I remember somebody said we got to start collecting names, like get people's names and phone numbers. So Myers gave us just opened up boxes of pens and gave us pens and tablets of paper and started handing them out to people, like just get your names. And then they started telling us to get everybody into the store. Meyer got on the PA system and basically told if you're not from the actual high school, get out of the store, leave your carts where they are. I remember hearing that. And so then I remember seeing kids just standing around like they look like zombies almost, like they didn't know. And they were telling us to get everybody inside. And I remember putting my hand on a couple kids, like trying to direct them, like, come on in, trying to be sensitive to the traumatic event they just went through. I didn't want to force anybody. And I put my hand on a couple people, and they just stood there. They didn't move. Nobody, a couple went into the school, or into the store, I'm sorry. But a lot of them just stood there, just staring.
At some point, did you see buses being dropped off or driven there?
Yeah. I remember all of a sudden some school buses started coming around the corner, and like in moments like that, like everything was I was just so hyper aware of everything. And I remember thinking to myself, like, that's just like really weird. Like, why are there school buses? Like, how did they get the buses that close to the school? And just stuff I was thinking about. And I remember seeing parents just standing there talking, hoping their kid.
Parents were looking for their children.
Yes, excuse me. Yeah, hoping that their kid got off the school buses that pulled up. I remember seeing a couple deputies. Their vans were empty, but that was another thing that struck me just absolutely crazy. There were deputies who were assigned to court services that showed up in transport vans to check because they have kids that go to the school.
To be honest with you, right, sometimes law and crime piss me off. Not court TV. Like, don't want to see his hands. He's telling us a story, goes to his face. He's been emotional. But they want these dramatic shots. It's like, I don't want it. Give me the bloody face. Jesus. Come on, fuck's sake.
Friend of the court unit were there. Narcotics unit, everybody was there.
Detective, you were on at the Meyer staging area for how long? 10 or 15 minutes?
Probably that long.
Okay. And at some point, were you redirected to the high school?
Yeah, Detective Jeff Enger works in the computer crimes unit. Had responded right to the school. We didn't follow each other up to the school or anything like that, so we got separated. And I was a little bit better at that time with video systems, DVRs, that sort of thing. And he didn't want anything to get messed up. Wanted another brain up there to help, and so he asked me to come up to the school to help him.
So then you went right to the high school in the main office area?
Yes.
Walk us through what happened as you pulled up the school and walked inside.
As I pulled up, there were cars everywhere. I remember having to drive over sidewalks to just get my car close to the school. One of our sergeants was standing at the door, looking at the school. The door 1 is on your right side, door 2, and the officer's behind the glass wall there. I walk in the door 2, and the sergeant standing there. He's just manning the door, I suppose. And I started asking people where the security office is, and somebody eventually walked me to the security office. I don't remember who it was.
Who was in the security office?
Their school security guy, Jim Rourke, was there. Jeff Enger was there. Lieutenant Marsban, a guy from the DEA was there. I don't know his name. And Deputy Lewert was in there as well.
What were you asked to do when you arrived?
We weren't asked to do anything when I got there. What we knew we had to do is to secure the video footage of the incident, what happened, because the bosses are going to want that information to formulate a plan and do all that stuff. So I knew they would be asking for it.
So you knew it was incumbent upon yourself as a computer crimes detective to find the relevant portions of the surveillance footage.
Yes,
Now, Oxford High School has a number of surveillance cameras. Is that right?
a lot of them.
So they some point inside the school, some are exterior.
Correct.
Okay. Was it over 90? I think that's the last.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, at least 90.
At least 90. So when you sat down, tell me what the security office looks like. I imagine there's a bank of.
No, it's really, I mean, it's no bigger than the shoot, maybe 3/4 size of the seating area you all are. We're looking at it. Jim Rourke, school security, had 2 monitors on his desk, and we're using that to look at, one set of cameras up on one screen and one set of cameras on another screen. It wasn't like a bank of TVs and stuff like that. I remember having to go into a program and launch it and all that stuff.
What was the first thing you did in your attempt to isolate and preserve that footage?
We knew where the shooting started. Jim knew where the shooting started, and so we went to that camera and to try to figure out who the person was and what time they got in the bathroom.
Okay, Detective, you know where the shooting started, and that was right outside 258, which is right here?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So with that information, tell us what you did in an attempt to find the perpetrator.
We at the point where it started, when the shooting started, we saw what the person was wearing, and then me and Jim just started backtracking. We were trying to find out what time he went into the bathroom, and I think it was 20 minutes trying to find him going in the bathroom, and we could never find a black coat, black knit cap going into the bathroom.
And did you find out why?
Yeah, we knew who the shooter was. Someone told us his name. And so we knew there was a time when he would have been on camera because he was leaving the school counseling office. So after realizing he was in the counseling office, we went all the way back to that time and just waited for him to come out of the school counseling office to see what he was wearing.
So you're the individual responsible for putting together the shooting surveillance footage, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So could you put a number on how much time you've spent working with the surveillance footage itself?
Oh my Lord. I can't put hours on it, but I can tell you the only phrase the video lives in my head.
So you have a innate knowledge of what you've seen on there. You were there on scene that day too, is that right?
Yes.
Did you actually walk through the school, follow the path of the shooter at some point?
Yeah, the second day, I had to go back up there because at first you didn't get enough video. We need to know this, and there was something that I think the undersheriff at the time wanted me to figure out from the video. So I go back up there, and I remember I asked Jim if we could go to where the shooting started, and because I want my eyes to see what the cameras are seeing, to really just like put myself in that moment, in that time, in that space to better understand everything.
So
So if I could think of an analogy, it'd be sort of like an officer with a in-car recording system on the patrol car. You capture some of what that officer sees, but you don't catch the peripheral. Would that be a good analogy there?
Exactly, yeah.
So with this knowledge that you have, tell me what you see when you that day, November the 30th, you're looking through the surveillance video, you're putting together when it started, where it came out of, and this is victims are still being treated at this point, right?
Yeah, it was, I remember it was shortly after 1 p.m. I got there and I left. It was well after dark. So I don't know what time that was, how long I was there for.
So tell us what you saw. Put that together.
When we were reviewing the video at first, pulling the video,
Sure.
I remember at first I didn't know all the people that were involved in it, all the victims. But you see the shooter come out of the bathroom and I've watched the video so many times. He had a sense about him, like, I don't know, I call it like the proud chest. Like he walked out of there like his head was held high, like he was in charge. And I remember his finger was outside the trigger guard.
Why is that significant?
Oh, it's gun safety 101. You don't put your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to pull the trigger. And he steps out and he immediately, there's Phoebe and her boyfriend Elijah, and he immediately levels the gun at them and then shoots them. And you see Elijah's hair from the blast of the bullet, like his hair he's got real curly hair and his hair just poofs up. He then turns the gun to there's Hannah and Kylie and Riley on the right side of the hallway, and he immediately turns the gun at them and fires some rounds in their direction. Then directly in front of him was John Asciutto. And I learned all these names after, and he shoots at John. And then as John runs further down the hallway, the shooter stops and he shoots again at Hannah. And at this point, she completely falls over. And then he runs down the hallway. I don't know how to describe it, but he sprints down the hallway and he puts the gun to He puts the gun to Madison Baldwin's head. And you see as he turns to walk away, her body just slumps to the ground. He rounds the corner by door 7, where some deputies had come in after. The sun on coming through the window, the doors are so bright you don't see him at first, and then he starts coming in the focus a little bit more, and with sun dies down or whatever. And there were 2 girls. I don't know their names, but the one girl reaches. She was a smaller girl, a shorter girl, and she goes towards the classroom and she tries pulling the door open. And I would imagine at this time they had engaged the locks on the doors to prevent anybody from coming in. And the other girl, she had a backpack on, and she easily could have just ran past that other girl. But she slowed herself down and grabbed that girl. And I would saved her life, I would say, and pulled her with her. As they're running away, you see the shooter level his gun and fire off a few rounds. In the upper corner of the video, you see like appears to be drywall or insulation. He continues on down the hallway, down the 200 hallway. Gets to the area right about a little bit further where a little bit more to the right. Yep. Gets about that area. Just then, on another camera in the area that they refer to as a cubby, Jim Mork referred to as the cubby. You see 2 students, one of them being Tate tape mirror, and you see the shooter level the gun and fires around, and just as Tate rounds the corner, he just unbeknownst to he didn't know what was going on. He turns the corner and he just immediately falls to the ground. The shooter then continues walking, and then before he gets to where Tate is, he stops again and levels a gun just to shoot Tate one more time. And he leveled the gun, and you see Tate's body flinch after he pulled the trigger. He walks past, so Tate's laying in the doorway to go past and further into the 200 hallway to the right of the picture. And he walks past Tate without a care, didn't look at him or nothing. And as he's walking further down the hallway, he sees towards the top of the frame, you see him stop, and he turns to his left and fires a couple rounds into an office, I believe it was. And then just continues down the hallway, gets almost all the way to the end, and he had passed a classroom. And the way the classroom is probably, right about there. The way the classroom is, the door is to the far right of the classroom, and there's a small window next to that door. So as he would have been walking to his right, or to our right, I'm sorry, he wouldn't have seen probably students hiding back in the corner of the classroom. And he turns around because he just walks right past as he looks into that area. And after he turns around, he comes back, and he must have seen students hiding in the back corner, and he just fired more rounds into the classroom. And then he keeps on walking. At this time, the assistant principal, Gibson Marshall, had seen what was happening, and she was coming up another hallway, and she's standing at the corner right where Tate was laying. And I remember her trying to get his attention. She just used her foot and lightly tapped him, sort of, are you okay? I don't know what she would have said to him. And Tate didn't move. And the shooter had come back towards the cubby, and as he approaches where Tate is now laying, and the assistant principal is standing there, she wasn't armed. She didn't have anything in her hand. She had a walkie-talkie. That's all she had. And you see the shooter walk past her, and almost in a sense of, shame, maybe, I don't know, but he turns his head away from where she is, turns and looks away from her. And he continues back towards the left of the screen to right about there. And then there's a bathroom. And that's where Justin was shot. But there was no indication, unknown why he would have, but he just made a hard right into that bathroom.
And then somebody fled the bathroom after Justin was killed.
Yeah. Keegan just came absolutely tearing out of that bathroom. I remember watching. He was running so fast. The cameras that recorded him, all it was on the camera was a blur. He was moving so fast.
I'm so sorry, but I have to ask you about Madison again. When he got to her, she was already on the ground in a crouched position. Is that right?
She was on like if she was on her feet and her butt was on the ground, and she was like in a fetal position, leaning up against like trying to hide the best she could.
That was before she was shot. Then he walked up to her and executed her.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. Detective, thank you. You have a perspective that everybody else has. So I'm sorry for that. But thank you. I want to talk to you now a little bit about your regular job as a computer crimes examiner, a computer forensics examiner. You've had the opportunity to review the entire extraction report, all the data extracted from the defendant's cell phone. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, we did a lot of this with Lieutenant Willis. I'm just going to ask you about a few things. It's already admitted into evidence, but but Exhibit 55, you had the chance to look through, internet searches, is that right?
Yes.
Tell me, please, item 1, November 30th, 2021, 8:34 a.m. What did the defendant search on his phone?
You search, what is the biggest high school in Michigan?
And this is November 30th, the day of the shooting, 8:30 in the morning.
The day of the shooting, yes.
Okay. Item 3, what did the defendant search? 8:11 in the morning.
Also on the day of the shooting, it's the biggest high school shooting.
8:11 and 18 seconds on the day of the shooting. What did the defendant search on his phone?
A search for a school shooting.
The night before the shooting, November 29th, 2021, 9 p.m. What did the defendant search?
What school shooting happened in 2021?
Everything in quotations. Those are the words he typed out. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Item 12, again, the night before the shooting, 8:49 p.m. What did he search?
What are signs to look out for a school shooter?
What about item 32, 2 days before the shooting?
Recent mass school shootings.
Item 37, this is 1 week before the shooting. What did he search?
Why was a Parkland High School shooting so popular?
Item 60, we have a name redacted. It's the name of a different school shooter from a different state. November 18th, 2021. What did he search?
What gun did someone use in STEM school shooting?
This is a week and a half before the shooting.
November 18th, yes.
Item 75. What did he search?
Again, on November 18th, he searched Colorado school shooting.
Item 79 on November the 12th, 2021. What did he search?
Which school shooter listened to Come and Get You?
November, that's 18 days before the shooting.
18 days, yes.
November the 9th, 2021. Item 136. What did he search?
Have there been any school shootings in Michigan?
November the 9th, 2021. Item 151. What did he search?
He searches Florida school shooting.
What about November the 8th, 2021? Item 152.
He searched how old was,
That's the name of a different school shooter.
yes, when he shot the school.
What about item 156, November the 7th, 2021?
He searched Douglas High School shooting.
And this is weeks before the shooting.
This is 23 days.
Item 160, what did he search?
Again, on November 7th, how many school shootings in Michigan?
The last 3. Item 164 from November the 6th, 2021. What did he write?
What was the most deadly school shooting?
Item 172.
Sandy Hook school shooting movie.
Item 173.
Who was the youngest school shooter?
Those were all from November the 6th, 2021.
Yes, sir.
On your forensic examination of the defendant's cell phone, you also reviewed website history. You can see when you look through somebody's phone, you can see what websites they visit. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
And we're not going to name this particular website, but did you uncover evidence the defendant visited one website in particular that depicts extremely graphic real-life videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're aware of the incident in the Oakland County Jail with the courtroom tally?
Yes, sir.
Did you find evidence that he had visited that website before the school shooting, the same website that he visited while he was locked up in Oakland County Jail?
Yes, there was.
Can you give us a number on how many times he visited that website just in the month before the shooting?
But believe it was in the 20s.
Well, if I said 421 times.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you meant when he was in the jail.
No, that's all right.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Talking about his phone before he was.
Yes, there was many. Yes.
Detective, you have also reviewed recordings on the defendant's phone.
Yes, sir.
And did you uncover 2 recordings in particular that the defendant made of himself the night before the shooting?
Yes, sir.
when play exhibits 56 and 57. Exhibit 56 is a longer recording. We'll have to plug and replug that.
Not an issue.
This is pretty damning, and this is quite emotional, to be fair. This testimony. Criminal judge. Yeah, and that site that you cited, Iris, is a good site. I might have to Google it now. I've never heard of it. What is PORNHUB? I'll have to Google it, Iris. I've never heard of that before. Have to Google it. Will I get copyrighted if I play it on YouTube? I wonder how much parents could get jail, prison for as well. They should get life as well, without parole. Yeah, I'll Google it now. I'll play it for us now, Iris. We're him in.
Detective, this
We're
is
in that
it's actually video, that's audio, and the video
day.
is just the defendant.
We're him in.
He's pointing the camera
We're
at the
in that
phone at his
house
feet, is
today.
that correct?
Yeah, you see his the tops of his feet.
Okay, in the interest of time, I'm just gonna play the audio for you, okay?
Hey,
After it's confirmed,
Sarah P.
November
You don't know
29th,
any of that,
2020.
Sarah P. You're too innocent to know any of that. Right, everyone. I know what it is. Right, I know what it is. Iris is a dirty fucker. Oh, I swore again. But Sarah is a saint. She doesn't know what that site is. No way. See, so I heard. Yeah, I've only heard about it as well. I'm glad people are worried there's actually going to play it. Thank you, Sarah. I'm not going to play it. Don't worry.
Ethan Crumbley, aged 15,
Okay.
and I'm going to be the next school shooter.
He's 15 then. Sorry, 16 now. He is. I imagine.
I thought about this a lot. I can't stop thinking about it. Like, it's constantly in my head. Every conversation I have with someone, no matter what, I'm thinking about it and I can't get it out. It's currently November 29th, 2021, 10:05 p.m. The school I'm shooting up is Oxford High School. I'm in 10th grade there.
Not today, though. I'm sorry. Not today.
I've always been
I
fascinated by guns when I was a kid. And I always wanted to join the forces and SWAT when I was in 3rd grade. Navy SEALs when I was in 4th. Marines, 5th or 7th. Army, Rangers. And I've never thought of a career. I've never had motivation. I kept lying to myself that there was something out there for me. There was something that was going to make me happy, that was going to provide me a happy, loving, caring life. But that's bullshit. It's all a lie. I realized that. Well, in 9th grade, I never thought of this. I thought I was going to make it through school and go into the army, but I realized, what's the fucking point? Millions have done it. Thousands have regretted it. Thousands have killed themselves because of it. You know, many come back and not happy, not satisfied. And I'm thinking, it's the only thing I want to go into, but how will it make me happy? How will I love doing that? How do I love? How I Yeah, I realize that.
I'll pause it there. I totally agree with Iris here. I totally agree with Iris here. But I also totally agree with Sarah P. With the testimony we've heard already, he asked for help and stuff like that. He asked for it, help me, please. School uh, and his parents. His parents, when ignored it, went out to buy drugs for themselves. It's like, yeah, deal with it yourself, dude. They bought him a gun instead. Why do you? He wants help, but they buy him a gun instead. It's like there's definitely tough combos to be had. We've all had them. Do you know what I mean? What and so it's just I don't know. I think this guy deserves. There's no what he did is unforgivable, and that's on him. You know, he should never have done what he did. But when you hear about the shitty parents he had that would rather spend all their money on drugs and smoke drugs, and then when he ended up in jail, they left him there. They didn't care. They buggered off. Got all the drugs, took the money out of his account because he didn't need it anymore, and just fucked off. Ah, what a bunch of arseholes. So, you know, I don't think you as a parent would do that, Iris. You wouldn't go to your son's bank account, even though he might have been a dick or something, and took all his money out, just spend it because he doesn't need it anymore. He's in jail. He's going to go to prison. What a bunch of dicks.
That's not going to work out. So I was thinking, what am I going to do? And I realized all the bullshit that was right in front of me, and I never realized it. I was always the kid who said, work hard in school and you'll get a career in life. But the career is bullshit. And it was right in front of my fucking eyes.
There's no excuse for this kid's done.
I couldn't see it. The school system is their main goal is to put youth just born into this world to learn. And you know, they actually learn fucking good. They learn K for 5. They learn useful stuff. Stuff about the world that teaches them not how the world is, but how it should be and how they want it to be. The teachers brainwash them into what they think is right, and their minds are so underdeveloped that the adults just take advantage of it. And they say that's too good for humanity. And when you get into middle school, that's even more useless. It's just an excuse to wait till the kids grow up. They're wasting years of their life. Learning knowledge they're most likely never going to do unless they become a Nobel Prize scientist or mathematician or the fucking founder of a multi-million-dollar environment club. And they're brainwashed. They're teaching a working class into this world. There was no
Right on, Sarah.
There's no teaching of working class centuries ago. You know, they're either born into it or they weren't. You were born into a working class, you were forced to work. You weren't born, you helped develop the world. You created technology, you created advances in civilization. I mean, there was only two indifferences, and the working class rose up and made everyone a working class. And now, no matter what, you just have to work. To do what? We spend 15 years of your life just hard studying and trying your hardest to achieve the best out of anyone in any school. And then you get accepted into college. And you could be rich, so you don't have to worry about it, or it could put you into thousands of debt. And you get a useless job that other people have gotten, and you think that it is doing something for this planet. You think that all those years of working and you get a job is doing something for the good of humanity. It's fucking not, it's useless. The education system, the government is just brainwashing people to be a working class. They're all brainwashing them just to fucking work and keep society how it is, but people want to go a different direction. They don't want to work, but see, that's where I don't fucking understand it. I'm not dumb enough to fully understand their capabilities. I'm not as dumb as them, so I can't understand, but they want to revolt and become a new class education system that just weakens everything. They want to fucking keep the innocence of everyone. They want to make sure that monsters are a thing. They're offended of a horror movie. They want to take away what this world is. In this world, it's not heaven. There is no heaven. There is no God. There is no Satan. There is no hell. But the world is hell in its own way. People don't think of it. You think as hell is the bottom, earth is the middle, and heaven is the top. But in reality, the earth is just hell. And it's always been that, and people want to just forget it. They want to just take away what already is. It's stupid. I'm taking action. People go and protest, fucking take away guns or make what I'm doing. I believe I am one of the first people to do this. I'm not only shooting up the school because I'm mentally depressed or mentally ill and have anxiety that struggles me every day, but I'm doing it to teach a word and all the simplicities. I don't fucking even know how to say that. All the fucking dunces out there, that brains are too, their skulls are too fucking low to understand everything. Unfortunately, the people I kill are the people that are killed. You know, I'm sorry that their families have to go through this, but it's for the right of humanity. And the course we're going, we're fucked. In 50 years, we're fucked. Nothing's going to happen. Democrats and the Republicans are just going to fight, and fight. And people are keep going to taking sides and sides and sides. And some people are going to stick out and say they're the big bears who don't think of it, but really they're the main problems. And it's just leading to a collapse. The world worked so hard for thousands and thousands of years. When the war happened, peace was a thing. People understood everything. People understood the logistics of human civilization. The time from 1920 to 1980 was the golden ages of humanity. In some countries may not have been that way. But for the big ones, it was the golden age. No one understood the world but knew how to keep it in order. They knew the differences because war and peace. They knew that they could cooperate and live together. You know, people are just taking that away. And what I'm doing is an act to show that people are taking it away, and I'm trying to preserve it. To show that no one is safe, no matter how hard they work. Your protests aren't going to do anything. They're just words, they're not actions. No one would care if I go up to the school and shout a sign, "We're too innocent. Bring back the equality between violence and peace." They would think I'm fucking delusional. But to take action is what you have to do. Action is the only thing out of humanity that has made us this far, has brought us this far into civilization. And society is collapsed. Civilization is no more. People don't see it, but we're on the brink of downfall. Like not just the break, but the beginning of the end, basically. Everyone is born, works hard, and thinks that everything's going to be the same for hundreds of years. And technology will advance and that's it. But that's not how it happens.
Make it make sense, like, dude.
When the bell rings to end fifth hour, tomorrow, October 30th, November 30th, 2021, I'm going to walk to the dividend between the boys and the girls' bathroom. I will have my black jacket on, and I will walk behind someone, and I will shoot a bullet in their skull. Yeah, that's my first victim. I'm going to open fire on everyone in that hallway. The hallways are too jam-packed. I will try and hit as many people as I can. I will reload, and I will find people hiding. I'm going to teach them a lesson of how they're wrong, how they're being brainwashed. I understand that I'm going to prison for this. Michigan doesn't have a death penalty. I don't want to die.
So I made a statement earlier on. I was like, I put the parents are to blame as much. They're fucking assholes, but this guy should be in prison for a very, very long time. I've now changed my mind. He deserves life, no parole. I don't think he deserves any kind of parole. I was sympathetic going, maybe he should get 50 years with a chance of no. But also, I still think the parents need to be in jail for throw the book at both of them. They're dickheads of parents. But come on, dude, you can't do this. You can't say all that. That's on him.
As funny as it may seem that I'm going to kill other people, I do not want to die.
Yeah,
I
that's
realize how
they
valuable
changed it
life
now.
is. And I realized I broke the code of
Premeditated. He
what's
knows what
happening.
he's doing.
I broke the code. I realized what is actually happening. And these people, they don't have the capabilities of understanding it. I'm someone to teach the entire nation and the world
Hey, Fox News, yes.
of what's happening and how we're on the brink of downfall. I'm going to be using 6R SP2022. I brought it at Acme Firearms, Oxford, Michigan on Friday. It is a 9mm pistol. It takes 15+1 ammo capacity. I have 3 magazines for it. I've worn my mask for too long.
Okay, just before we go any further, sorry I'm stopping him. Fuck me. It doesn't matter about my swearing, Sarah. I forgot to put the monetization on. So I forgot. So it doesn't matter about swearing. I'm going to switch it on now. I'm not sure if that makes any difference, but fuck. Whoopsie.
I can't take it anymore. I've broke. I've fought it for years and for years, lying to myself over and over again. But it's taught me the truth. There's no voices in my head. The voices are me. I am the voices. I am arguing with myself back and forth. I have 3 constant voices, and then there's me physically.
I still think that's
And I'm doing whatever those 3 voices tell me to do. And one of them is always coming up on top. And that's the one that's taking over. That's what people call the demons. There are no demons. I am the demon. You are the demon. There is a demon in everyone that is the voice. The demon will take over. There's nothing I can do about it. My life is already on a downfall. If I don't do this, nothing will happen. The world will collapse. I will be in misery. I'll probably just end up in a useless career in the army and killing myself. What use is that? I have the chance to teach the world to become a better place. And I have to take that chance. I've missed many opportunities in my life, and I'm not missing this one. I'm going to try and flee the school for as long as I can until I get caught. Just the thought of, there's so many people who think they're going to live a life, go to college, have a great career, get a family, grow old, die happily. But they don't know that in less than a day, I'm going to die, and their lives are going to be changed forever. I understand my consequences. I understand that people put me in prison for this. I've already said goodbye to everything. I went through all the phases. I'm surprised I even do it today. I'm sorry for manipulating you, Mom and Dad. You have trust in me. I made sure you had trust in me, and I just disowned you. But you should know it's for a cause. And I am ruining my life and not yours. Help me.
Detective, there's a much shorter video that the defendant filmed right after that. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
Exhibit 57, November 29th, 2021.
Oh. Well, let's see this picture then.
The previous video I took, that was bullshit. What I said. I'm gonna have so much fun tomorrow. I have a goal, and it's to kill everyone.
Judge, I have no
Very
more-
true, Irish.
No additional questions for this witness. Could counsel approach?
Yes.
Regarding this time? Yes.
So probably the break now for a minute. Jesus, what's going on? I mean, I had sympathy. Well, as much as you can have sympathy for somebody that's killed 4 people, I did put maybe a little bit too much blame on the parents. But after listening to that, I'm like, no, he can't have a parole. He can't. Well, not now. You know, he has to put a lot of stuff in place to get parole. Jeez, that was premeditated. I know he's 15 and his brain's not grown yet, and we made that point. Sarah made that point earlier, but that was scary to listen to. Scary to listen to. So yeah, Silence of the Lambs, yes. Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, I just don't. That's the first time I've heard him speak and stuff. So that was very scary to think. And I know there's like an element of mental health here. I get it, right? I get it. But with mental health, you'd want to also kill yourself afterwards, not just go on the run until they catch me. Catch you for what? Dude, if you've done that, you 100% will, want to just turn the barrel and bang. I don't know. That was some scary shite to listen to. Um, I don't know what's the so say that he wanted to pro. What does anybody know what the max is? Is it 50 years or something? Because he's a minor. So does that matter? Hi, Shauna. Yeah, no, yeah, right, right. But this is what they're battling, isn't it? They want life with no parole. That's what they're saying. Life, no parole. So that's what I'm wondering. What's the max for life in America? What is it? Does anybody know? Or probably you don't know because different states have different maxes, maybe. But this is the argument today: is that they want him to have life without the possibility of any parole. So he would be in life, and the defense obviously want a number so that they know, right, after this number he will be able to have parole. So, oh Jesus, hey Shauna, here we go for the charity. Happy days. It is much better than this. I just can't play it on here. I'll play it after though. I promise you, I'll play it after. Don't you worry about that. We're rimming. We're rimming. We're rimming Irish's ass today. We're rimming. We're rimming. We're rimming Irish's ass today. Yeah, let's go, Irish. Get that ass out, girl. Depends on the state. Yes. Ah, that's nice of her, isn't it? Hello, guys listening. I just can't talk, but I had to say hi and say, holy cow, Batman. I know, Shauna. Mental, isn't it? 75 years more or less. Difference is how much you serve before parole. Yes. I wasn't, but I will. Irish's ass is getting rimming. Hang on, let me get on my phone for you for a second. I won't play it just in case. Is that it? I'll go too much now. Right, hang on. Hey Siri, are you rimming Irish's ass today? Hey Siri, we rimming? I'm not sure I understand. Are we rimming? Hey Siri, are we rimming today, Siri? Hey Siri, do you know Iris in Texas, yeah? Do you know Iris in Texas? I didn't catch that. Could you try? Do you know Iris from Texas? Do you know her? He says he doesn't understand. Well, so Iris in Texas, we're rimming. We're thinking about rimming our ass today. You joining us, Siri? I'm not sure I understand. Jesus, Siri. Siri, do you love rimming? Siri's useless. Siri never speaks. Useless. But thank you for that, Iris. Why doesn't Siri answer back then? Is it Siri? Why doesn't it answer back? I did, but I thought I better not show too much. Some say about 3%. That's why they want him in there forever and ever. Da-da-da, breaking my heart forever and ever. No, no, mine. Yeah, licky licky. Look at you pretended. Oh no, not mine, guys. I know you, Iris. Dirty. I won't say it because it's not 2 hours yet. Siri's not degenerate. Yeah, it doesn't. It's useless. It's useless. Siri is. Does not speak back at all. That's why I wanted a bit of fun there, but no, does not want to have fun back with me. I'm still in shock of Sarah P knows what Pornhub is. I got Sarah P on a like so high in the pedestal. She's too innocent to know what you know. No, another dirty bitch. Iris and Sarah. Unbelievable. It's a quiet one, isn't it? Well, Irish ain't that quiet, so that's not quite true. Oh, what's the other one? Oh, I don't remember what the other one's called. Oh, excuse me. Well, I have so full I know. I see now that you're going to be joining the rooming club now. Sarah's joining the rooming club. I didn't expect that. I thought it was only C-Swift and Sarah for not Sarah and Lady Law for a while, but now Sarah's in there. Shocked, shocked. Let me tell you. Graded to Android. I've got iPhone, right? But yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway. So this is actually quite interesting today. I wasn't going to play this today. Oh, everyone's watching show business and stuff. So whatever. But we've got 4 people here watching, so we got something going here, and I think we got the rimming club here. We're only missing Lady Law, I think. Not the rowing club, with the rimming club. I tried to put the rimming club on Twitter, and I thought, oh, I better not. Better not. Sarah's a badass lady in the streets. Oh yeah, let's go, Sarah. And Sarah and Iris, you're not far from each other. So, well, I mean, you probably are, but on the map, you're not far from each other. So, so I've not seen Swept for a few days now. Well, Lady Law, I've had messages back and forth with Lady Law, but that's about it. That's why I was looking to do members only. I'll probably doing it next Saturday, I think, because give people a bit of a break this Saturday because it's been an intense week for show business and stuff. Show business. Business, job business, job business. Shop business, shop business, shop, shop. Oh, Shauna, you joining the rimming club? We're rimming. We're rimming. We're rimming our ass today. That's our new motto, Shauna. We're the rimming club. You can join, Shauna, not a problem at all. I'm sure a girl that goes to college in LSU, you know what rimming is, girl. I know. RGV, I don't know what RGV is, but I won't ask because I don't want to out you. But I'll Google it later. RGV? Oh, Papa. You see, though, this is what I love. I might be a small channel, might not have many people here, but connections now. Do you know what I mean? We need a new song now. What's wrong with the rimming song? I mean, well, that's why we have a members only. Do you know what I mean? So that we can make some other songs up. But I love the rimming song. I thought that was quite talented of me to pick up that song. We're licking, we're licking, we're licking that puss today. We're licking, we're licking that puss today. I bet Iris. We're licking, we're licking, we're licking that puss today. Woo, woo, licking, we're licking that puss today. Boom, boom. Then you can decide then, white gravy or brown gravy. What is it? What is your flavor? What is your flavor? Do you like the white stuff, brown stuff? What do you like? No, I have not because I spoil them. I'd rather make songs up and not spoil it for people. Oh, these are the victims' families. Oh, sugar. And songs. I normally know sort of know the tunes, but I don't know the words. Do you know what I mean? Ain't no river wide enough. Ain't no mountain high enough. No, no, no. This is a good song. No, no. Yeah, it's a full courtroom. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, there's no limit. No, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, there's no limit. No, no limit to reach for the sky. No valley too deep. No mountain too high. Oh, no limit. Well, those individuals had to be, yes, listen to us a Victor's bit, absolutely. And that's why I need to stop singing and be more respectful. Um, sugar, sugar. Oh, honey, honey. Sugar, sugar. Oh, honey, honey. You are my candy. No, I do know that song, but I don't remember the tune of it now. Sugar, sugar. Oh, honey, honey. You are my candy girl. I'm gonna have to make a coffee once it starts up. No. Let me entertain you. Let me entertain you. Have to laugh to stop from crying. That's why the gallows humor. Yes, I believe in love, love, love. Da-da. I believe in love. Bum, ba, ba, bum. I believe in love, love. I believe in love. Do you like to lick the puss instead? Oh, she's be right back. No worries. No worries, Iris. Be back. No worries. See you in a bit. Bam, 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 bam. All we do is love. Bum 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 ba. All we do is love. Bum ba ba ba. All we do is love, love. All we do is love. Yes, he is. He is. So his own cameras into the. Yeah, so he's doing some sort of GoFundMe, Sarah, so he can purchase all the cameras and stuff, and then do it live from there. So I'm not sure what they're up for. I said, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what the maximum would be for them to get. To be honest, quite honestly. But I don't know much about this. Like, obviously, I know the shooting happened and stuff. But yeah, I don't know too much about this case because he pleaded guilty. Jesus, what have I done here? Messing about with this and it's bugging me. Do you watch a lot of MLS then, Sarah? What do we do now? Ba-ba-ba-ba. All we do is love. Yeah, I don't really watch many streamers, if I'm being honest with you. I tend to just go around giving a few likes, but I don't really stay and watch it or anything. I don't really watch any of the streamers. Tragos Law is probably my only other one I watch, to be quite blatant. It wouldn't have done anything but, yeah, for him to plead. Oh, yeah, here he comes again. Yes, I watch. Oh, do you right? Yeah, I don't. I obviously watch clips, but I don't really watch him. Because I stream so much. I don't like watching other people. He's got one free hand. Yes, so he can make notes and stuff. Any of the streamers you watch, Sarah? Was ever this? He's whoring himself out this week, isn't he? He's going around all the big channels, which should make sense to him because he'd probably get a good following now. I'm rubbish and stuff like that. I'm here streaming to 3 people, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm with the people I love. Bum, ba, ba, ba. All I need is love, love. All I need is love. Oh, you got the cameras, have you? Same here. Same here. What? Oh, you watch over there. Oh, yeah, Iris. Who do you watch then? Who's your Because you mod for somebody, don't you? I just don't watch anybody. Which next live? Oh, Emma, I never do lives with other people. A lot of people don't want me on their lives because I'm not PC. Oh, I did that, Sarah. I had over 100. I had over 100, but what? But I need to. Oh, hang on. What the fuck? I don't. I'm not sure what's going on here. The court is not. Oh, here we go.
And good afternoon, ma'am. If you could please state your full name for the record and spell your last
Oh, so are you a mod for MLS? Are you?
name.
Molly Darnell, Darnell.
Thank you. We are a video recorded courtroom, so if you could please keep your voice up for me so we can make sure that you're captured by our video recording. And please speak like you're speaking to someone at the very back of the courtroom, okay?
I got it.
Thank you.
Thank
People,
you.
your witness.
Good afternoon. May I call you Molly?
You can.
All right. Molly, can you tell the court what you do for a living?
I'm an educator for Oxford schools.
And how long have you been an educator for Oxford schools?
I started with Oxford in the fall of '98.
So like since you've become a teacher?
Since I became a teacher.
Okay. You've spent your whole career at Oxford schools.
Correct.
And what is your current title at Oxford schools?
I am a middle school mentor for Oxford Virtual Academy.
Okay. So you are not in the physical classroom, you're teaching virtual school.
Correct.
Okay. Is that the position you held on November 30th, 2021?
That is not the position I held on
What?
November 30th.
Can you tell the court what position you were in on that day?
Yeah, so on November 30th, I was the International Baccalaureate Coordinator, ELA coach.
So you weren't teaching a
No,
curriculum
I
to
was,
kids?
per the contract, I was a teacher, but I worked with teachers on curriculum and instruction.
Okay, and for the bulk of your career, were you a classroom teacher?
Yes.
And can you tell the court why you became a teacher?
I find joy in helping kids find their passion, or, that's why.
Safe to say you love kids.
I do.
Okay, you always taught high school?
I started off with middle school, and then I moved to high school, and I was high school most of my career, and I am back to middle school again.
Molly, I'm gonna ask you to direct your attention to the screen to the right. That is a map of Oxford High School, correct?
Correct.
And you didn't have you had a classroom, but it was really an office, correct?
Yeah, it was an office space that I shared with two other individuals who we did our jobs together. We were like a team.
And was that intended to be for the whole 2021-22 school year?
Correct.
Okay. And what was your room number?
I was in, so you see where 222 is? I was just to the left.
So just where the
Yep.
pointer is?
Yep, it was 224.
Okay. And what is a typical day in November of 2021 for you?
So on that particular morning, we were planning some professional development for teachers. I had a meeting with admin, and I was working with the media specialist on getting a few things in order for our PD the next day.
Okay, so safe to say you weren't operating on a regular class schedule with
Correct.
passing time, and
Correct.
you didn't necessarily have to recognize the time a class starts or ends.
Correct.
Okay. And so were you typically in the hallway during passing time?
I might go outside to just, check things out or have a chat with the teacher if I needed to. But I never used the restroom because that was teachers' times during that 8 minutes to ensure that they were using the restroom.
Around 1:50 that afternoon, do you know, or can you remember what hour or what was going on in the school for kids that day? I'm sorry, 12:50.
12:50. That would have been, I believe, during the lunches. And we're talking about specifically on November 30th.
Yes.
Okay. So specifically on November 30th, it would have been in between the lunches.
So it was passing time.
Correct.
Okay. And do you remember what you were doing? Were you in the hall for passing time, or were you in your classroom?
No, I had a student who I had in the fall of 2020 come in and have a little chat with me. She had left, and I moved to my computer to check an email.
Okay. I want
And-
to stop you because you're going to talk about the layout of your office,
Okay.
correct? And I'm
Yes.
going to show you a picture of that layout.
Hi, Minister. Welcome.
That is my
It is
classroom.
indeed.
Okay.
Or my office. Yes, the
I'm
office.
sorry, your
Yes.
office that was housed in a classroom.
Yes.
When you said you were checking your email, where in this picture would you be doing that?
My desk was straight ahead. Yep, right there where the
Let's
go
get
over
us
one.
all.
Sorry,
The other way.
the other way. Yep.
Right
You can see my little laptop sitting right there.
there. Okay.
Mhm.
And when you went to check your email, was your door open or closed?
It was open.
Okay. And at some point, did you notice anything unusual?
Yeah, suddenly I noticed a rush of students running past my door, almost like they were like arms extended. There seemed to be like a hype about it, or a tone about it that left me concerned.
Had you ever seen that before?
Not like that. That quick movement, no. Not like that, no.
Okay. What did you suspect might be happening?
My assumption was there might have been a fight, or like somewhere there was something going on, and so I got up from I grabbed the phone to call the office. It was immediately went to voicemail, and I ran out my door.
So you ran to to the door.
Yeah, I ran outside of the door
Okay,
at
so
that
you-
point in
Now
time.
you're in the hallway,
Correct.
and what do you see?
So I'm probably the hallway is a little bit of a, yeah, like a U shape almost, right? So see how it comes out. So I run out, I'm about midway through 222, and I can see, yeah, probably right there, and I can see students exiting out of door 4.
All the way down the hall.
Correct.
Okay. Were there still a lot of kids in the hallway?
There was no one else in the hallway that I saw at the time.
Did you find that strange?
Yeah, I couldn't really wrap my head around what was happening.
Okay. At some point, did you
Too
become
true,
alarmed?
Mel. Too true.
I head back into my classroom immediately, or back into the office immediately. And I'm like, okay, could it be a prank? Is there something happening in the parking lot? And that's when an announcement came on that we were headed into lockdown, that it was not a drill. And there was doors slamming and the sound of pops.
So the announcement, who was on the loudspeaker?
Steve Wolf,
And who's that?
the principal, at the time he was the principal of Oxford High School.
And did you know him well at the time?
I did.
And did you notice anything about his voice?
There was an urgency to his voice, but there was also an intention to remain calm.
Okay. And after you heard it was a lockdown, what did you hear, if anything, next?
So the announcement and the pops and the doors slamming were really close together. I get them a little bit confused in my head as to what happened first, second, or third.
Okay, let's stop for a moment. When you say there were pops, what did those sound like? What was that? Did it resemble any other sound?
It could have been a locker door slamming,
Okay.
like several locker doors slamming in a row.
And what did you think?
We weren't using lockers at the time. Because of the announcement, I knew I had to go into lockdown.
Okay. And when you say go into lockdown, what does that mean that you're supposed to do?
So my classroom or the office door was closed at that moment. So I ran over to grab the door and shut it. I knew I'd have to shut it, and then I would have to put in the night lock, which was a security barrier that's intended to allow to kind of like, whether or not the door is locked, it also helps keep anyone else from getting in. It's
Okay.
just a second lock of a measure.
So where is the night lock? And it's kept in classrooms just for lockdowns, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Where's the night lock located?
So it was right over where, kind of like by that, right in that area.
And where is it kept?
It's kept in a little plastic box on the side of the wall.
And is it locked, or can anyone?
Anyone can open it.
And is this in every classroom in Oxford High School?
To my knowledge, yes.
Do all the kids know what a night lock is? Are they taught what a night lock is?
I know that we have done multiple drills before. I assume that kids know how to use it. I was not in the classroom when those were installed.
Okay. Who taught you how to use it?
We had a staff professional development when we, like on a Wednesday morning, and we all learned how to do it.
Okay. How close in time did you learn how to use the night lock to November 30th, 2021? Was it over a year? Was it 6
It was
months?
before COVID.
Okay. So your door is now shut, but you need to install the night lock, which prevents anybody from getting into the door without the master key, correct?
Yeah, I think there's some way to get
Some
in.
device.
Yes.
Other than that, you'd have to take the casing pretty much off the door, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me what you did.
So I reached for the night lock. And the position that I held, I also had an office space at the middle school. Those doors open differently, and so you have to put the night lock in. There's 2 separate ways to put the night lock in. So I looked down at the night lock for a second to see what type it was.
Could you hear anything during this time, or was it quiet?
It was quiet.
Okay.
That was when I noticed in my peripheral vision some movement from up above, right? I'm looking down from up
Because
above.
if you look at that picture, you're saying through that window.
Yes, through that glass side right there.
Is there one side that has glass or two?
Just one side.
Okay.
So I noticed some movement. And I look.
Tell the court what you saw.
I locked eyes with someone dressed in baggy, oversized clothes. They were wearing a mask, and
Was clothing dark or light?
dark clothing.
Okay.
Yep, dark clothing.
Could you tell if it was male or female?
At the time, I thought it was a male.
Okay.
Um,
What did you
so
see?
yep. So I've locked eyes, and then I noticed some movement down below, and I looked to see a gun raising up towards me.
Were you looking at this person's eyes directly?
Prior to looking at the gun, yes,
Okay.
I was looking directly at that
And-
person's eyes.
Is there anything or any words you could use to describe that? Or anything you remember about that?
I remembered thinking in my head, no orange tip.
Okay.
I had heard previously that BB guns have an orange tip on them. So my thought was no orange tip. And that's when I jumped to the side, to my right,
So you're facing the door.
and I jumped to the right.
Did you recognize this person at all?
I had never seen this person before.
Okay. And why did you move to the right?
I believed he was going to shoot me.
And did he shoot?
He did.
Okay. What did he do? You moved to the right, and then did you hear a shot?
I heard 3 very loud. They were physically loud. Like I could feel them coming through that door. Like the power of it. But they were, it sounded almost like like a cap gun.
Okay. When you moved to the right, did you just move aside or did you get down?
I kind of jumped to the right and I felt my left shoulder move back. And it felt like someone had burned me with hot water.
Okay. Did you stop to see what that was, or?
I looked at my shoulder. At that point, I noticed my cardigan that I was wearing was ripped. I looked behind and I noticed a bullet hole in the glass of the office, like leading out one of the windows.
Okay, so if we can go back.
Yep.
You moved to your right, so
So
you're
I'm
over here.
Yep.
Okay, and you're facing the classroom, correct?
Yeah,
back
I'm
is to
still facing the wall,
Okay.
right? So if there was no wall there, I would be looking at the hallway.
Okay, and at some point you turn around and you see what?
I mean, I just turn around and you can see that bullet hole in the window up there. I noticed that, and I remembered thinking in my head, a BB gun couldn't do that. So
Okay. What's through that window?
that's the courtyard.
Okay. What did you do next, Molly? Were you standing or were you sitting?
I was standing.
I have to ask you something. Was the night lock in your door at this point?
No,
Where was it?
it was in my hand.
Okay.
At that point in time, I knew I needed to barricade my door. I was afraid to go back towards the door. So I grabbed one of those long filing cabinets
Mhm.
and tried to pull it back, and realized it was too heavy for me.
Where was the filing cabinet?
So right next to that door, there was a mini fridge.
Mhm.
Then there was a filing cabinet, and then there was a cart.
Okay. Now, there is something barricading the door partially.
So
what is that and how did it get there?
yeah, so what happened was after I realized I couldn't move that filing cabinet back, I got down on my hands and knees and I crawled back and I dropped the night lock in. And then I grabbed the rolling cabinet and I shoved it against the door on the wall.
Okay. So you crawled over and then finally put the
Put the night lock in.
Okay. And what did you do after you put that in front of the door and you put the night lock in?
At that point in time, I continued to move that filing cabinet out a little bit more so I could crawl behind it. My concern was that he would come back through that window and be able to see me.
The courtyard.
Correct.
Okay. Now, were you using both of your arms to move these
I
things?
was.
Okay. Were you feeling any pain?
I was not.
Okay. Once you got behind the filing cabinet, which is not visible in this picture, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Were you crouching, sitting, standing?
I was crouching down. At that point, I had sent my husband a text message that just said, "I love you, active shooter."
Okay. Did he respond?
He did.
What did he say, if you remember?
He said, "Just get safe."
What did you say?
I didn't respond
Okay.
to that. That was about the time that I realized that I was bleeding. I could feel blood on my arm. And I knew we have a blood bag you can see on the wall. It's in red. I knew I couldn't get back to the door. The wound is kind of back here on the back of my arm, so it was very difficult for me to see.
So you saw blood, and is that when you realized you had been shot?
I suppose, yes. I think I was still in disbelief that I had been shot. But what I knew was I was bleeding.
Okay. So what did you do?
I removed my cardigan and I used it to tie a tourniquet above the wound.
And who taught you how to do that?
We've had training videos on how to pack a wound and treat a wound.
Could you see the wound at this point?
No, I still had on another shirt underneath my cardigan. It was just blood stained.
Okay. After you made the tourniquet, Molly, what did you do next?
That was when I started receiving text messages.
Do you remember who you received a text message from?
So the first one was the ELA department, who I work with, said, "I'm hearing active shooter." And I responded, "I saw one," and left it at that. And then moments later, I received a text message from my daughter.
And how old was your daughter at the time?
16.
And where was she in high school somewhere else?
She was at a high school in a neighboring district.
And what did her text say, Molly?
She asked if I was okay, that they were hearing things.
And what did you respond?
I said, "I'm safe. I've sheltered in place, and I love you."
You did not tell her you'd been shot.
I did not.
And why not?
Was trying to protect her.
Did you text anyone and tell them that you had been shot?
I did not.
Okay.
Well, not yet.
Okay. What did you do after you sent that text to your daughter?
I had a moment where I thought, do I need to contact my other daughter who lives out of state? And
you didn't do that, but tell the court why.
I didn't do that because I thought she won't hear about this yet. She doesn't have to know about this yet. I thought by not saying anything, I could keep her safe a little bit longer.
And I know this is important to you, so that's why I'm going to ask. You regret that?
I do.
Okay. Tell the court why.
Because she found out anyway. She made the decision to contact my husband because she knew if she contacted me and he could hear the phone, then he would know where I was.
The shooter.
Correct.
Okay. What did you do
At that point, I called my husband.
So you actually made a call.
I did.
Okay, and at this point, did you know where the shooter was? Were you hearing anything? Did you have any idea what was going on?
No, it was complete silence. Like I could not hear anything. It was complete silence.
And what did you say to your husband?
I called my husband. I told him I had been shot. He asked me if I had a tourniquet on, and I said yes. And then I kept wanting to tell him what was happening, like what I was hearing and what I was thinking. And he kept begging me to stop talking.
Why?
He was just said, please, like, shh, I don't want him to hear you.
Okay, so did you eventually hang up?
We did. We felt like it was the best thing to do. I would just want him to talk.
Okay. So now you're not on the phone.
I'm not on the
You're
phone.
crouched behind the cabinet. Your arm is bleeding, and
Another announcement comes on. This time it was Pam Fine, and she said we are still in lockdown. At that point, I received a text message from our media specialist that said, I didn't hear that clearly. And I said, just, we're still in lockdown, stay in lockdown. I am starting to uncontrollably shake at that point in time. And I hear something different in the hallway. I'm hearing footsteps. So
before that though,
Yep.
had you told anyone else that you had been shot?
only my husband knew.
Okay. So you're hearing a different noise and you say it's footsteps.
It's footsteps. I was waiting for a shift. I didn't believe that this was life-threatening. And so I was waiting for a shift to say, I've been injured. Like once everything was taken care of.
What do you mean when you say everything was taken care of?
The shooter was taken into custody. And anyone who needed help got help.
But you did need help.
I didn't think that I needed help, no.
Okay. At some point, you got out of that room.
So,
Do you know how long it was?
20 minutes, I would say. After the shift with the footsteps, I texted the teacher next door to me and said, I've been shot. She called 911, and there was another teacher in that room who texted our administration. Or Kurt Noose arrived at my door, who was an administrator, assistant principal at the time, still is. He arrives at the door and he says, Molly, are you in there? Or Molly, are you okay? Something to that effect.
And what did you do?
I said, I'm here. But I was afraid to open the door.
Why?
I've known Kurt for 20 years. I know the sound of his voice, but I did not trust anything in that moment.
So you weren't sure it was him?
I wasn't.
Okay.
Within a few seconds, or 10 seconds, 20 seconds maybe, there were officers at my door. And I think that's when they asked, are you injured? And I said, yes. I said, do you want me to take out the night lock? And they said, yes. And then I said, do you want me to open the door? And they said, yes.
Did they say that you were safe? Did they say that?
I don't recall that. I opened the door and I was still really crouched down. And they kind of like scooped me up. And started exiting me out door 4. So they take
So
me
you
out.
walked all the way down the hall.
Yep, out of door 4.
Do you remember what you saw when you walked out? What did the hallway look like? Was there anyone there?
The hallway was completely vacant. They had me under the arms. There was 2 men with guns both in front of me and behind us.
So they walked you out the door, and what did you do? Where did they take you?
They walked me out and we just stood beside door 4 for a second. One of the officers went right back in. And the one that stayed with me said, I'm going to radio for an ambulance. We just need to make sure that nobody else has a higher need than you.
Okay. So how long did you stand there?
It might have been 3 or so minutes.
Okay. And eventually an ambulance came.
There was one. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they get you in the ambulance, and
Yes.
where did they take you?
To the hospital in Lapeer.
Were you feeling any pain at this point?
I could not feel physical pain. No.
At some point you found out what your wound was and where it was, correct?
So I knew I had sustained an injury to my arm.
Can you tell the court what the injury was? And
Yeah. I was shot through the fatty part of my arm, through and through.
so I want the record to reflect, Your Honor, that she is pointing to her left shoulder, and she is pointing to the portion of her bicep area that is in how many inches away from your heart?
About 6.
Thank you. The record will so reflect.
Thank you. You were treated there and released, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You said you were in shock. At some point, were you told or did you see the door of your classroom?
Last week.
Okay. And when was that? Why did you see that picture? or
I
something?
had met with you to talk about testimony, about testifying, and it's when I saw the door.
And when you look at that door, what do you think?
He was aiming to kill me. The top shot was intended for my head, and the 2 shots were intended for my chest.
What point did you realize how close that bullet came to your heart?
It would have been weeks later. I realized, it is right in line with my heart.
Okay.
It was like a sudden realization. It was definitely after the new year.
So if you hadn't moved to the right, it would have hit you.
In my head or in my chest, yes.
Molly, have you gone back to visit the school?
I went back to visit my
Yeah, I thought that. In my head, it's going right 6 inches from here to your heart. There, it's more than 6 inches. Like, no way is that 6 inches. My dick is not that fucking big. Do you know what I mean? Nah. Come on. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you. Maybe. But still, I mean, ifs and buts. Do you know what I mean? I think the judge gets it. Do you know what I mean?
my office at the end of January.
And why did you do
It was my hope to go back to the high school.
You wanted to go back to do the job that you were doing before?
Correct.
Okay. And you didn't end up doing that, did you?
I did not.
Okay, can you tell the court what that was like and why?
I couldn't, I just, at the end, I wanted to go back. I loved the work that I was doing. And I wanted to kind of prove that I could go back. But it was just too hard to be there. It's like I couldn't access things that I knew when I was in that space.
What do you do now?
I work at Oxford Virtual Academy as a mentor.
Okay. Was there any lasting scar or pain from that injury?
There was some numbness for a while. There is still a visible scar.
Okay. And I viewed the scar, and I certainly wouldn't ask you to show anyone else, but can you describe where your scar is?
Yep. So it's on the back side. It's about right here. I can feel the two. That's where the bullet entered and exited. There is a red. It's still red in between where the bullet hole cauterized my arm.
But you can still visibly see where it
Entered and
where it
exited.
exited. Okay.
Yes.
Molly, I asked you when you sat down why you wanted to be a teacher. And you answered that you love teaching and you love kids. That's right.
That is true.
Is that still true today?
That is still true today.
Okay. And the last thing I want to ask you is, you said that when you looked into the shooter's eyes, you did not recognize that person?
Correct.
Okay. Do you see that person anywhere in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you describe something he's wearing?
He's wearing glasses and an orange top.
May the record reflect she's identified the defendant.
So reflective.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Cross.
Mrs. Darnell, in order to become a teacher, you went to college, correct?
I did.
You had a major.
I did.
What was it?
English.
Which would make sense that you're part of the ELA program, correct?
Correct.
And did you teach English at the middle school?
I did not. No.
What did you teach at the middle school?
When I, like years prior, when I first started teaching,
Correct.
it was one of the subjects that I taught. I had, I worked at Crossroads for Youth, which was an adjudicated youth facility. And I had all middle school boys at the time. And so it would have been more specific, like a reading or a writing course.
And in that position, you were still a teacher, correct?
Correct.
You weren't part of the counseling staff?
I was not part of the counseling staff.
As part of your education, do you have or did you have any sort of classes in childhood development?
I did have classes in, basic childhood development my sophomore year.
Now, as a teacher, you're licensed as such through the state of Michigan, correct?
I'm a licensed teacher through the state of Michigan.
And that has some things to do with why you have some experience in first aid type classes. You're required to do that as a teacher, correct?
I don't know if that's a requirement by the state of Michigan or if that's just something we're required to do, but it is part of something that we have to do. I mean, it's part of training that I've been given through professional development.
And as a teacher, you're also something called a mandatory reporter, correct?
Correct.
Can you describe a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, so if something's concerning, like a student says that she has been attacked, that is something that I would have to report.
And who do you report that to?
I would report that to, oh my gosh, who do I report that to? I would probably go down to the office and say, who do I report this to?
Maybe Child Protective Services?
I don't believe it could be Child Protective Services, but I know I would go down to the office and ask, this is what happened and I need to report this.
So you mentioned having children and your concern for them and your role to protect them, correct?
Correct.
And you would think that would be consistent with any parent, correct?
I would think.
So, from a perspective of a parent, if you saw a child struggling with mental health issues, would you get that child some sort of treatment or support or counseling?
I would.
And if that child reported delusions, hallucinations, hearing voices,
Your Honor, this is a witness that testified about being shot, and she's a victim. I don't know, I'm not sure where counsel's going, but she's not qualified as a child development expert, and I would ask that counsel refrain from asking these kinds of questions.
Your response?
Your Honor, this is a Miller hearing. There are Miller factors. One of those factors is the history, family history of Mr. Ethan Crumbley. I'm asking her from a parent perspective, not necessarily her personally, and even as a teacher, questions that get toward his family history, her knowledge of it, as well as the issues that should be raised in a Miller hearing.
It may be a Miller hearing, but this is a victim of a crime. And if she wants to call somebody to talk about those things, they have witness lists and they're going to do that. But this witness is not and should not be subject to those questions. And she's not a lawyer and she doesn't know what the Miller factors are, unless there's some independent knowledge I don't know about.
Thank you. Let's get to the point. You can ask her specifically if she's ever interviewed your client. I think that's more appropriate, but to ask her general questions, I don't believe that's appropriate here, as you haven't laid the appropriate foundation for this witness to answer those questions. So the objection is sustained. You may continue.
So if, as a mandatory reporter, you learned that there was a student having hallucinations, mental health issues, delusions, or hearing voices, would that be something that you would report to someone?
I would take it down to the office. Yes.
And if you knew that a student had been left alone as an elementary student or a middle school student for hours during the evening and nighttime hours, night after night after night, would that also be something that as a mandatory reporter you would bring to the office's attention?
I have never had that happen in my career. I don't know what I would do.
That would be something that would concern you enough that you would have to think about whether you would be required to report it then. Would that be fair to say?
Your Honor, she's answered the question. She said she doesn't know what she would do.
Thank you. Respectfully overruled. You may answer the question, ma'am.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. As a mandatory reporter, if you had learned that a student in an elementary school age or middle school age bracket had been left alone for hours by themselves at night and in the evening, night after night after night, would that be something that you would have to think about reporting to someone?
I would be concerned. Absolutely. I don't know the circumstances specifically. I would have to hear what the circumstance, like what are the circumstances exactly that are happening for me to know whether or not I'm reporting. I don't, right, what, like you're talking middle school, elementary age, there is what's the age limit for kids to stay home alone?
Your Honor, she said she doesn't know, please.
Sure. And she's answered the question. You may ask your next question.
That's fine. I was waiting for her to finish her response.
Sure.
What age group is in middle school?
Well, Well, they start in 6th grade, right? So you're looking at 11, 12, 13.
In Oxford is middle school 6th, 7th, and 8th grade,
That's correct.
but not 9th grade. That would be high school, correct?
Correct.
Now, do you know what the Miller factors are?
I have no idea.
Do you know Ethan?
Other than the moment that I saw him raise the gun to me, I have never seen him before.
So you've never had a conversation with him, never had him in class, even in middle school, I'm sorry.
No,
You've never seen him at lunch.
no.
Now, as you sit here today and
I'm so glad. Right. If I say some of these things, I get roasted. But these are the things that I think here. I don't think, like, I know she's a victim, whatever, she got shot, stuff. I sympathize, fine. But this is the kind of teacher, her attitude right now is like, she didn't care. Like you said earlier on, Iris, she's there for the cheerleaders. That's what she's there for. She doesn't care about Ethan and all those that got problems. That's not what she's there for. If she was, she'd know Ethan. She'd know all the people with problems. She don't care. She just wants to get her paycheck at the end of the day, maybe do some activities like cheerleading or netball, then bugger off. She don't give a shit about these kids. But if I say that, I get shot down. So I love the fact that you ladies are being fair here. I love it. Because you just spoke in my mind, all of you, Sarah, Melissa, and Iris.
testify on your own personal knowledge, you can't tell us anything about Ethan's family life, correct?
Do you know how hard it is to heal from something like this? I avoid everything I can to heal. This
Tough shit. No offense. I know she's a victim and I apologize, but tough shit. That's not the question asked. I don't care. You were here as a witness. Be respectful. Answer the questions as a witness. I don't like this. I don't like that at all. This is what I don't like. Do not turn it back to you as a poor me. You're still alive. 4 people died. You're lucky to still be alive. So answer the fucking question. So this was what annoys me. This proves that she doesn't give a fuck as a teacher. She is all about her paycheck, bit of cheerleading, back home, bit of wine, loving it. Oh,
is learning about.
oh, hang on, what's that? She did care, but she wasn't around that. She just took the class to finish the degree. She did care. I don't 100% get what you say. I don't say she didn't care full stop. I'm sure there was kids that she did care about, but they're probably the good kids, not actually the ones that got actual problems. Yes. Nothing to do. Yeah, this is why it annoys me. This is what annoys me.
What happened is not part of my healing process.
Do you know anything about whether he's been diagnosed with
Your
a
Honor,
mental health disorder?
She has answered this question
The
at this
objection
point.
sustained. Let's move on. She's already indicated she doesn't know anything about your client. She's never met your client. She has never met him in lunch, etc. Hasn't met him in middle school, and so she wouldn't know any or have any personal knowledge about your client. In fact, the witnesses just said she's tried to avoid everything as a part of her healing. The objection sustained. I'm going to ask respectfully that you move on. Thank you.
Do you know what it means to be rehabilitated in the sense of the criminal justice system?
Your Honor,
I do not.
Your Honor.
And
Your
she's
Honor.
answered the question. I understand your objection.
Okay.
Yes.
But for the record, it's bordering on harassment for the sake of harassment.
Shut
This council
Shut
knows
the fuck
full
up and
well
sit
she
down.
has no
Shut
idea, and
the
she's
fuck
also
up and sit down.
visibly
Shut
shaken and
the
asked her
fuck up and
to
sit down, you
say,
mouthy.
I don't know anything
Shut the
about it
fuck
and I
down.
don't want
I don't
to.
give a fuck what you
The
say.
court
I'm
agrees,
not.
and that's why I'm asking counsel to move on away from this, because again, unless you're
What
gonna
the
lay the
fuck?
appropriate foundation that she knows something specific about your client, or that she has specific knowledge of childhood trauma, etc., that's a part of the Miller factors, she's already testified that she does not know. And so with that being said, the court is sitting as the trier of fact here, and I've been listening throughout this entire hearing, and I will note that there are some things that have been relevant to the Miller factors, there's things that have not been relevant to the Miller factors. The court will place the appropriate weight on the evidence that supports the Miller factors. And so I've been listening very patiently, but again, this witness has testified that she doesn't know what the Miller factors are, and the court is, again, based upon her testimony, is going to conclude that she has no direct testimony as it relates to the Miller factors. And so again, counsel, respectfully, please move on. The objection is sustained.
How many years did you teach at Crossroads for Youth?
2 years.
Your Honor, that was my last question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hott. Any redirect?
Yes. Thank you for being so strong
Yeah.
and for having the courage to be here. May she be excused.
Oh.
Yes. Ma'am, you are excused. You may also leave the courthouse. Any need to have this witness called back?
None at all, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You're all set. With that,
I have every sympathy for victims. I genuinely do, and I feel sorry for that she's gone through all this. But I've seen others testify that been through a hell of a lot worse. Lost their legs, lost their, like the Parkland officer one. The guy lost his leg. People with bullets actually in them, and they still were there, still traumatized, but still answer the questions respectfully. This woman did not do that. I don't like that. Did not like that at all. It was more about and maybe I know I'm wrong 99% of the time that people will not agree with me, but I just don't like that. Don't make it about you. Make it about the victims here now. And it's about actually Ethan today to see if he's going to prison for life without parole or not. So there's another hearing for you with the parents again. Do you know what I mean? That I'd be more sympathetic on. This I don't like that witness. Far she was around some kid. Yeah, I think my issue with it is that she didn't want to be around them. So she's a self-reporter, but she didn't want to know. Is my inkling on it. Maybe I'm wrong again. Maybe I'm just pissed. I don't know. But I am pissed right at the minute. And she wouldn't know anything about the criminal justice system. She would know that's true. She and everyone else, she and everyone she's been around in life has followed the rules. They hold like, yes, there's no deal with justice system is about 100%. I agree with everything you say there. Everything. Hell, she doesn't even know who to report to as a man. That's worrying. And if she doesn't know that, there's probably a lot of people that don't know that either, which is because they A, never had to do it. B, it's just a tick box to say, yeah, I'm a mandatory reporter. Don't care. She totally would have called police on Judge if she saw him in the or Judge if in the neighborhood lodge. Yeah, 100%. If it's in the neighborhood, you would, wouldn't you? And I don't like that attorney either. This victim judge, the victims fucking behind you. They've lost children. Agree, Iris from Sarah P. I agree with Iris and Sarah P. So
said the time is approximately 4:05. As I indicated to counsel off the record, we will end our hearing before 4:30 because of security building issues. With that being said, we're going to conclude for today's day, and we're going to pick up tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. With that being said, anything else from counsel this afternoon?
No, Judge. I'm sorry, you said 8:30?
8:30.
Thank you, Judge.
Understood.
Thank you. With that being said, deputies, you may take the defendant.
oh, thank you. I know a lot of people disagree with me there, but right, stop screen. I needed that. I was annoyed by the end there. Full on blonde and blue eyes family. Yep. Hang on. Here we go there. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Go, go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Go, go. Here we Also, by the way, there's other people here watching. You don't have to agree with anything I've just said. You could think, what an arsehole, and disagree 100%. I know I'm unique, right? That I have different standpoints and viewpoints. I don't expect no one to be a disagree. When I watch Johnny Depp, I have everyone in the chat totally disagreeing with everything I say. It's what part of it is. Please don't listen to what I have to say and think that I'm speaking the truth. Absolutely not. I'm fucking full of shit. This snipe law talk with Mike Stream. Think he's live. No, at 9:30, isn't it? I did see it because I had it here. Those parents are victims. Absolutely. Totally agree with you, Melissa. Totally agree with you. Let's look at that now. I'm going there. Right, so 8:30, are they on Central Time or are they on East ET Eastern Time? That is the question. I think I don't know, Michigan, isn't it? It's both. Tomorrow it's on again, yes. 8:30. But what is Michigan? Where are they? Ahead of you. Okay, that's fine. Okay, fine. Oh, that Sarah P, very clever. Sarah P, very clever. I didn't even think about that, to be fair. So okay, so it's gonna be on. I'll set it up for 8:15 Eastern tomorrow then. And obviously, Sarah P, I do not expect you to be there that time because it's 7:15 in the morning for you. Hopefully you come back, Iris, Melissa, and whoever else was here. Hopefully there'll be more people, but is what is what it is. What's that for me? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. God, that's 1:15 in the afternoon for me. Jesus. That's gonna be fucking that's gonna be a early start for me. Today I start at 3. So there we are, lovely people. That was good. I'll turn it on when I wake up. You see, you wake up thinking of me straight away. I like it, Iris. I like it. I like it. I think it's probably go on for at least another day, if not. As I get ready for, I know a score. Thinking of me again. I know it's all good, Iris. I know. At least don't hide it. At least don't hide it. We're in. We're in. No. Are you in the UK, Melissa? Where you from? Where you from, Mel? Where you from then? Jesus, an UK person. Happy days. I love anywhere UK people. I didn't know that. You should have said that. You should be like, "Oh, I'm from the UK. I'm not one of these bloody Texans. I'm normal." Mel, your UK bestie. I just want to know where about. You don't have to say the village, but whereabouts England, Yorkshire, London, not actually your home address. Originally from Yorkshire, lol. Ask Irish, I have an accent. I bet you do a heavy accent in Yorkshire. Emily Farm, innit? Emily Farm accent, that is. But where are you now then? If you're normal as a stretch. But if you're not in York, what I mean? You're in the UK still, don't you? You're not from Yorkshire now, though. Are you further down south now then? Because Jesus, are you? There we are. I mean, Yorkshire's lovely, but it depends where she's living now. Yorkshire's nice. Yorkshire puddings. Nice food in Yorkshire as well. The pies and pasties. Um, but then I don't know. There's also the accent. Oh yeah, you don't have to say where you're from. I don't give a shit where you're from. Like, still north, fine. Still north. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not asking for your address, Mel. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, yeah, so which street are you on? What's the house number? Rough, because you said you were from Yorkshire. I was like, oh, so have you come down to London? But you still up north? Fine. Happy days, happy days. Well, I'm from West Wales, so I've got an accent. So we've all got accents. Oh, you speak more like Northern Ireland. Do you know what I mean? Yorkshire there. Emmerdale Farm, that's what you need to watch to hear what Melissa sounds like. Right. So, yeah, Irish is I get the address. She'll be like, ribbon party at this address near Yorkshire. All right, then, people. It's a movie outside, too unfriendly. Yeah, I don't like, no, I don't. I lived in Glasgow and Dublin. Now I'm back down south, but South Wales, like Southwest Wales, not Jesus. I didn't notice you. Sarah, the cheeky bitch. Look at her. Pornhub. Cheeky as fuck. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, it's you're bringing the worst out of her, Iris, for fuck's sakes. So yeah, hopefully we'll have more. Well, there's 3 people here now, so hopefully we have more than that tomorrow. Fuck me. We will have more than that tomorrow, hopefully. So that doesn't matter if we don't. We'll still have fun anyway, won't we? But anyway, I'm gonna close down for the night because yeah, I'm tired. I don't know why. I've done nothing except for this today, but I'm still tired. It's probably all the rimming I've been dreaming about, and I also I'm desperate to get off so I can get on Pornhub, have a look like. Um, right. Thank you, all you beautiful people. Sarah, I'll see you probably later in the day tomorrow when you get to the office, and I will set the stream for the morning, and I'll see you all then. So with that, it's campus. Bye bye. Bye. Fuck me, that's camp. Bye bye. Should be wrapping up today or tomorrow probably. Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. Hopefully more people come then. Do you know what I mean? But we all want to come though. Hey, oi, oi, let's go. Ooh. Anyway, let's rim it. Let's rim it out with you. Mel, see you later. Sarah, see you later. See you in your dreams tomorrow, Iris. I know. See you, honey. Right, ta